Welcome to 2020 BC. Tonight we feature the Abramson twins. This is a story of guile and deception, blessings and curses, honor and glory. We call our story Red Stew and the Blessing Deception. BAHBAH, here to ask the tough questions.
It's our top story. We go back several years when a set of twins were born to Rebekah and Isaac Abramson. Theirs was a happy childhood. Esau, the oldest, loved the outdoors and was well acquainted with the skill of hunting. He was rough and tumble. Jacob, the younger of the two, was more comfortable at home. One rough and wild and the other meek and mild. Or was he?
Jacob was definitely a mother's child. We developed a close relationship and he listened to me. Something Esau would never do. Look, as much as I love my eldest son, I must admit I was happy to see Jacob win Esau's birthright. Judge me if you want to.
The birthright that Rebekah talked about entitled its owner to the greater portion of his father's wealth when Isaac passed away.
Oh, I can't believe I gave that weasel my birthright for a couple bowls of red stew, you know. Oh, sure, I was hungry, but what else could I do? It was either give him my birthright and live, or walk a mile and have supper with my parents and, live.
The decision seems as if it should have been easy.
Ah, it was. Sell my birthright for some good stew.
2020 BC has warned of another twist to the story that positioned the younger of the two twins of the Abramsons to best his hairy brother. It seems the twins' father Isaac was legally blind and nearing death. He called his eldest son Esau and instructed him to hunt for a prize stag and make a family specialty for him to eat. Once this was accomplished, the elder Abramson would bless his son. It was evident that this provided Esau with great satisfaction. Even if he would not have the birthright, at least he would have his father's blessing in the end. However, this too would be denied.
Mother asked me to go out among the livestock and choose a couple of goats so that she could make Father's favorite dish. Because I'm smooth-skinned, Mother made special coverings from the goat skins for me. She felt that this would convince Father that I was Esau. Father was genuinely surprised to see that the meal could be prepared so quickly.
Jacob would visit his father and, while Isaac did not initially believe that it was Esau that stood before him, the smell of the outdoors and the rough skin coverings made by his own wife ultimately convinced the man of something that, had he been able to see, he would not have believed.
That no-good brother of mine not only took my birthright, but he took my blessing too. I can still hear my father say, I have made Jacob your master and have declared that all his brothers will be his servants. I have guaranteed him an abundance of grain and wine. What is there even left to give?
Failing dramatic reprisals for his deception, Jacob fled to his uncle Laban Bethuelson, while Esau stayed in his hometown vowing revenge. Can the loss of both a birthright and blessing ever allow reconciliation between the twins? Find out when 2020 BC continues.
Have you ever wrestled an angel? At Andrew's School of Supernatural Wrestling, we teach you the skills necessary to attempt such a feat. You'll learn various super holds, and we even provide a really neat, pep talk, because when you take on an angel, you'll need all the confidence you can get. Don't be fooled by substitutes. Andrew's School of Supernatural Wrestling is the original, or, at the very least, a passable lookalike. When you're ready to wrestle, hold out for a blessing, a name change, and a really sore hip. Call Andrew today at 899-WRESTLE. That's 899-WRESTLE.
Welcome back to 2020 BC. I'm BAHBAH. The twin Abramson boys were as different as night and day. With as much brute strength and outdoor skill that Esau possessed, it was Jacob, the weaker of the two, that ultimately walked away from the family after Esau threatened his life. However, despite the threat, Jacob left with a birthright and his father's final blessing. As the years passed, Esau found comfort by marrying a relative of his father's stepbrother Ishmael. Jacob, on the other hand, spent years working to gain the two daughters of another relative. His name was Laban. He, too, was deceptive.
I had worked the first 7 years for Rachel, and yet a veil on our wedding day hid the fact that I was actually Laban's older daughter, Leah.
Some would say that Jacob simply got what he deserved. He had practiced deception and, in the process, alienated himself from his family, and then, as he sought to start his own family, he was deceived. Poetic justice? Perhaps. In time, Jacob would break free from the bonds of Laban and take his family to Canaan, where he'd once grown up. The chain of deception continued when 10 of his children conspired to harm their brother Joseph and then sold this sibling as a slave to a caravan of traders bound for Egypt. They lied to their father as to what had become of his favorite son. It is said that Jacob wrestled an angel. It is also reported that he himself described his existence as a hard wife. We are left to wonder what might have happened if Jacob had not shown such deceptive tendencies. 2020 BC has warned that God apparently visited Jacob's mother Rebekah and said, and I quote, "2 nations are in your womb, and 2 peoples shall separate from your body, and 1 people shall be stronger than the other, and the older shall serve the younger." One must wonder, if Rebekah had simply believed what she was told and left all notions of deception behind, if in fact the cycle of deception might have ended before it began. From the Negev to Edom, from Canaan to the land of Goshen, for 2020 BC, I'm BAHBAH. Good night.